I'm Jacqueline Nelson.
And I'm Mike Babad.
And today's bottom line is all about drugs and reputation.
And by drugs here, Jacqueline, we mean the pharmaceutical kind. You know, these are very turbulent times for Valeant Pharmaceuticals, the drug maker that's based in Laval and is well known for making dermatology and eye care treatments.
Yeah, turbulent to say the least. Valeant's been up against reports lately from media and from short sellers that question its ties to these mail-order pharmacy partners that the company has and uses to help distribute some of its drugs. Now, the company hadn't previously disclosed these relationships because, one, they said that they weren't material, and two, they saw them as a competitive advantage.
Yeah, and it's interesting to note that, you know, Valeant had a conference call this week to address some investor concerns. And, you know, Mike Pearson, the CEO, went so far as to acknowledge that, you know, the company's been slow to answer some of the issues raised by shareholders.
Usually, rule number one of crisis communications is that you want to act fast and get out ahead of the story. Valeant didn't really do that. It took its time. And even now that the company has had a long investor call to explain the way it does business, there are still some lingering questions out there, and not so much on the legal or accounting side of things, but just confusing business practices.
Yeah, and investors are uneasy, to say the least. I mean, just look at the stock action recently, and that's compounded because of everything that's going on more broadly around Valeant.
You know, Valeant's got a lot of debt, and then there are also the U.S. investigations into drug pricing that are ongoing right now. I mean, that's become a really hot-button political issue, and Valeant came into the spotlight for hiking prices on some of its drugs related to heart conditions.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting because for big companies, you know, these kinds of issues, they can take on a life of their own. I mean, look at companies like McDonald's or Coca-Cola. They're not the only ones out there making fast food or sweet drinks. But, you know, when questions are raised about obesity, these companies are frequently mentioned.
For Valeant, one analyst at BMO noted that, you know, this conference call is a great start, but it's really only the beginning of what the company is going to need to do to restore full investor confidence. For Valeant, still a lot of questions out there.